now I did go ahead and skip a little bit ahead. Not much, don't get in a panic. I went ahead and used the 911 olive green and came in and did the darkest areas. Okay? If you need to, you can pause at this point and go in and do all your darks and get caught up. But it's just the dark areas that I saw. Now remember, each one of us sees a little differently. So what you have as a dark area might be different than what I've got as a dark area. There's no right or wrong to this. We're just putting those darks in. Now, I do want to point out, do you see how there's a line here of dark? And then over here, there's some dark that comes through. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and do a little more dark down in here. I guess what I'm trying to show you is where that focus line is at. Okay, running across here. This is semi in focus here. And then it kind of comes down through here. And this is what's really in focus. So just keep that in mind as you're doing your colors so that you don't try to just define everything, because you don't want it all defined. The stuff that's going to be out of focus in the background, we don't want to define that. We want it to be blurred. We've talked about that earlier, how we want the blur in the camera, that background. Okay, so just go ahead and put some of those greens in. And again, that was the number 911, so just go ahead and pause, get your greens in. No, seriously, go ahead and pause. Okay, so you finished that up and you're all back now. So now I'm going to pick up the next green, and I'm using 1097. This is a really dark moss green. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come in, and what we talked about across the field, there's this line right through here that is actually darker. So I'm going to go in the center of these bigger areas and make them darker. That's all I'm doing. I'm just hitting some of those larger areas and really deepening them so that we have that horizon line kind of flowing through there. Trying to get my arm around here where I can get to it and still not block you from the view at the camera. Okay, so just a little bit through there, just enough that I've got some darks, some really deep darks. Okay, now we're going to come in, and remember we used earlier the lime peel. It's number 1005. So I'm going to use this now to come back in, just like what we did this one. That's what we're doing here. And I really don't want to sharpen this yet because it's shorter. I'm able to get to it, and I'm not going to have any breakage problems. All right? So remember, leave those white lines, and I probably just went into it. So just blend that down. There we go, right up next to it. And see, you can see those colors starting to blend. Just let that blend. And then as we get back in here, back behind, it's going to be more blurred. So we're doing what's focused right now. And then in a bit, we'll go back and do more of what's blurred. And we're going to do it just like what we did up at the top a while ago up here. So if you've missed any of the first videos, you need to go back and watch those. Okay? And for you that have already got your page downloaded and you've been coloring, I would love to see what those look like. All right, so if you're in the coloring book group, Coloring Books Keep It Clean over on Facebook, please do post those. All right, really want to see what you're doing because each one's going to be a little bit different. but they're all going to be fabulous. See, just getting these leaves in. And I know that white outline looks kind of awkward, but I promise you that's what happened on the camera. I didn't do it. That's what a sunny day it was. Just there was light bouncing all around that field. All right. And just keep going till those colors blend. I do find sometimes when I'm working with these Prismacolors that they will really get soft and actually act like a crayon if I use them too much all at once. So if it starts laying down like a crayon, really kind of different, and see, now I'll sharpen it. Brutal. But you may have to actually let it rest a little bit. And see, I won't go sharp, just to let that cool off a little, because they will get warm and then they'll get melty. So I'm going to come in here and just get my lines in. I can do that while I'm letting that color rest. And I've never really talked about letting the colors rest before, but it's just something that I've found here lately really helps if I'm doing a big background or something like I am. I'll go ahead and do that age spot that was there. Okay, just coming around here, keeping those highlights that were so reflective that day. Yeah, I was even surprised when I shot the picture and then went back and looked to see how much white was actually really there. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing now on all of these. I hesitate to totally do this entire picture with you because I really think you could finish it on your own from here. But I hear some of you going, oh no. So we're going to do a little bit more. I would love for this to be the last video on this. It has taken us hours to get this far. But again, doesn't that Bluebonnet look like you could reach out and touch it? That's the look I'm after. So to me, it's fine. And see, that made the vein right there. So just going over the entire area, blending the two colors, and that's how we're getting that separation and all the different lines and stuff that we need in the leaves. It's by mixing those colors. All right, there's all that. I put this one in down here. I'll put some of this in. These are really just kind of light back here. And see, all of this is just blurred. A lot of this is blurred. So that's where we're really going to start getting into the blurriness of the background. Okay, I'm still using that lime peel. See, that line's automatically in there. And this one will automatically be in there because the way I did the dark, now there's automatically a vein in there, and it looks like that leaf is kind of folded up like this because we have some of the dark here. Because if the light's coming down from here, all right, some of this is going to be dark and then this is light because that's folded over. Okay, let's go ahead and get this in. Okay, So you're going to do the same thing through all of this. Okay? You can do it. It's not hard. It's not hard in the least. See? Just getting it in there. Blurred backgrounds are not real difficult. You just have to remember to keep blending those colors until they kind of all run together with no definition, like this up here. And that's what we're fixing to do all through back here, where we can't make out where the leaves are. We just know there's a lot of green. Okay. And sometimes it's just changing out those greens. And just turn it where you can get to it. If anybody ends up taking the pattern and making it into a cross stitch or crewel or embroidery, I also would love to see that. And when you post it, I just ask that you would link it back to my Etsy so that people know where you got the pattern from. Okay, all right, do you see how that's working? So this is what's right up in front, and then this is what's further back. Now, I can come in here and still go over all these lines. That one doesn't look like it got fully colored. Now, do you remember how we used this up in here? So we need to use it down here a little bit to pull it together. So in the lightest areas, I'm going to add some of this. This is that chartreuse, yeah, $9.89. Okay, color that you use in one area, try to use it again in another area, and it's going to really help pull that piece together. I'm not sure how many of y'all ended up doing the big daisies that we did, the chrysanthemums. That turned out to be a nice piece. It looked like you could reach out and just pick those flowers up off the page. Okay, now let's try to do some of this background, and we're going to concentrate on making it more blurry. Okay, so I'm going to come in with my 911, that's this one, and then the 1097. So the shorter one is the olive green. Okay, so I'm going to come in and just put some in. And I'm on that olive green. I'm just trying to knock that background further back. And I'm not paying a lot of attention to the lines that are here. Okay, like there's a line there. I'm not really going to pay attention to all that, because at this point I want my background blurred. Okay. Now you could still come in and do like some of these leaves. That's fine. Okay. But see how I'm coloring at them instead of being very particular like we were at the first. That's because I want these to recess and just be that blurred background. So let's concentrate on this right here, because if we get this done, you do the same thing here and here. And then what we did here, you're going to do all the way across. Okay? So I'm going to change out now. I'm on the 1097. Just doing some more dark in here. Just getting it in there. Trying to get color in all these little areas. Then I'm going to come in and I'll start blending with a lighter color. But if I use the darker colors back here, it's really going to push that to the back. And when you get your picture, you're more than welcome to sit there and follow along with your photo and do each little section. It's just when I'm doing a video and I'm trying to do a blurred background, I don't get particular with it. I just don't. I like to do, you can tell I'm doing lines every which way, because I don't want any one thing focused in on. Okay. I'm just pushing that all back to the back. And then this is lighter because we've come back up the hill and into the light. Okay, we can do this. Just look and see where there's still some of that gray showing from our grayscaleness. Okay, now I'm going to come in with the lime peel, 1005. Sharpen it just a bit. I don't want too big of a point on there, because now I'm going to come in and I'm going to start doing some blending. See how that looks like it fits in with that? Okay. I'm just going to keep blending until those colors blend in. You get the illusion that something's there, but you can't quite see what it is. I'm going into this a little bit, because that's just another one that's creeping up. And see, there's a good chance I would have just wiped that out completely and just done greens and not put them in. But we're trying to follow this along some. All right. And if you find out your darks aren't dark enough, pick up any of your darks. Just put some more in there. Yeah, just lay in some more green. Get some green laid in. Again, this is for a blurred background, very out of focus. I don't want it focused. I want it to be blurred. And I'll still have to do another layer over this. Okay, how are we doing time-wise? 20 minutes. Okay, we're still good. So see, I know I still have another layer because that white is not all covered yet. I have the tooth of the paper is still peeking through. So I'll come back in and add some of this darker, because right now it's just kind of a mix. And I just want it a little more defined. In fact, let's go ahead and do that. I think it was this one, 911. Just go ahead and put some of this in. Then grab that other one, 1097. Put some of that in. You know, I think something else we had done was some of that brown, that 947 dark umber. Oh, yeah, there we go. Do it sparingly, but yeah, that's going to help push some of that dark way back to the back. Okay. So now come back in, just start blending with your circles. See if we can get that the way we want it. Going over and over it, it will eventually blend. And here's where, again, more light coats are probably better. I'm just trying to go ahead and get this on so we can get on through. And that has some green in there, so don't be afraid to go into that. And this color is just really brightening all that up. Okay, and it'll get there. Let's do this, see if that helps it look a little smoother. Yeah. See, we just really want that just really molten looking, so to speak. And most of your coloring sheets will not have this white outline like this, unless you're doing a stained glass piece. Again, that is very unusual to see this. And see, these are a little bit focused, but they're even starting to really go unfocused. They're not as focused as these are. We're just really going to let this go unfocused. Just go over all of it. Just knock it back. See how that just went to the background when I covered those white lines? Okay, see, I can even let's make this go to the background. Watch. When I go over those white lines, it just kind of pushes that to the back. Let's see? There, see? Even that goes on back some. So it's really up to you how much of this you keep in the forefront and how much of it you push back. There are no coloring police. You are the one to decide this. You want it further back? Then you go ahead and color it. And color those white lines. It'll push it back for you. In fact, here, let's just push that back. Okay. See how all that got shoved kind of to the back? And it still looks really rough, and it's because I've not put enough layers on it yet. It just still needs more pencil. I'm going to pick up that chartreuse again. See how just going over it one more time is starting to smooth it out? That chartreuse is getting down in the little dips, the white areas of the paper. And we're adding color by using a lighter color instead of using one of those blending sticks or a stump. Okay? Tortillions, whatever you want to use, is fine. But just remember that to actually add color is going to help fill those spots in. Otherwise, you're coloring your stump or your stick, and you're, wow, that's so three-dimensional right there. I thought it was a piece laying on my paper. But yeah, a lot of time all you're doing is moving the color around when you use one of those pencils or a stump, whereas I'm adding more color to it. Okay. All right. Now we're at 27 minutes. I think you can finish from here on your own. I really do. What we've done right through here, you're going to do that across the whole thing. Anywhere that you opted to leave the white lines showing, I'm using putty beige, and that's going to help to knock those lines back some so they're not quite so white. Okay? It's all right to have them white, but you don't want them in your face white. Does that make sense? So just go over them with that putty beige. And then where you've got your stems, like there is a stem right there. We know that's a stem. So let's come in with one of these greens and just put it in, and then come in with that really bright chartreuse and put that stem in. And if it ends up being too bright for you, that's right. Come in with your brown. Just touch it up a little. So, all right, you think y'all can finish from here? I do. I think you can. Just remember, just keep blending. Just blend, blend, blend. Just keep blending this. And this will all get as smooth looking as this up here was. It's jaggedy, but it's a different kind of, the smoothness as in not having any of that white showing through. Okay? That's what I mean by smoothness. All this. And again, if it's not dark enough, come in and add some. There's plenty of tooth in that paper. Okay? So keep working on it. And this will be our last video on this one. So, hope to see you post your pictures. Would really love to see these. And see, I need a little bit of dark in there just to push that back some so that it looks like it's back behind these two leaves. So let's just add some dark. It's all right. Then come back in and do more blending. Now see, it made this look like it's closer up a little bit. Okay, my hand's tired, so I need to stop. Plus, you've got this. All right, enjoy.